The mainstream news is not reporting this yet. You are hearing this first. Oh my God. Hello, my fam. Perez here, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. As I'm sure you know by now, we are in the discovery phase of this seemingly never-ending legal drama. Although there is an end in sight, the trial is scheduled to start March of 2026. And as part of the discovery process, we are also in the subpoena process. Remember what I told you about Taylor Swift? Dragon mad. Well, now the shamtastic lawyers for Van Zandt CEO Blake Lively are trying to subpoena information about Justin Baldoni's health, specifically about his neurodivergent status. Understandably, Team Baldoni was like, no, this is not relevant. However, in a letter to the judge, a lawyer for Pinocchio says the following, objecting to their objection over releasing information about his neurodivergent status, quote, "It is relevant to Mr. Baldoni's alleged conduct in influencing the public narrative regarding his conduct on the set of the film at her expense. Please advise if the Wayfarer parties are willing to reconsider their position." In their letter to the judge, they say that request number 60 seeks information regarding Mr. Baldoni's asserted neurodivergent conditions, which he admits he has communicated about in connection with Miss Lively's allegations and has relied on to explain his alleged sexual harassment, retaliation, other inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us. That's a lie. That's not true. Baldoni never said that. What the fudge? If you're unaware, back in December, Justin Baldoni went public with the fact that at 40 years old, he was diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Since that interview in early December, not once have I recalled that his having ADHD was mentioned, factored in any way. They didn't mention that in their complaint or amended complaint. It's not been a factor. Am I forgetting something? But F-list human Blake Lively thinks that it is relevant. So she's trying to subpoena some text messages where he talked about it. His lawyers, in a letter that was also just filed, reminded the judge that his neurodivergent status has not been brought up. However, here's where they made a fatal flaw. Team Despicable told the judge it's been brought up in discovery. And let me read to you the response that Baldoni's attorneys had to that. Quote, "Your recitation of the conversation is incorrect and incomplete. When asked to explain the relevancy of the health-related documents sought by request number 60, you replied, 'It's in the discovery.' I then asked you to what discovery you were referring, and at that point you realized that 1, no discovery has been exchanged between the parties in this action. And 2, you should not have referred to the discovery that your firm obtained through the New York State court action in which, from our viewpoint, you purposefully omitted Lively as the plaintiff and listed her company, Van Zandt, as the plaintiff, and purposefully omitted one or more of the Wayfarer parties as defendants so that A, no one would know that Lively had, in essence, commenced a lawsuit, and B, the Wayfarer parties would not receive notice that Van Zandt, i.e. Lively, had served a subpoena." I'll get back to this in a second because it's important. However, The letter filed yesterday from Baldoni's attorneys continues saying, quote, "In an effort to retreat from your reference to such discovery, your colleague," sensing that they effed up, "Michaela then referred to Lively's allegations on page 60 of her amended complaint. However," paragraph 188 of page 60, which you cite above, purports to quote from a text message that appears to have been obtained by your firm in response to the Van Zandt subpoena. Ow. In other words, both you and Michaela, the lawyer, were referring to the same discovery that you obtained without notice to the Wayfarer parties. If your firm wants to explain to the court how your firm obtained information concerning Baldoni's purported medical condition and attempt to explain how it is relevant to Lively's claims, we welcome the opportunity to respond thereto. Because as I told you, so far, the fact that he has ADHD has not been mentioned at all in any legal paperwork until yesterday. That Van Zandt lawsuit was super shady. It was an unethical tactic used to obtain private communications via a subpoena, all while bypassing proper notice. And the due process that was entitled, or should have been entitled, to Justin Baldoni and his publicist, Jen Abel. It was a legal move that many believe violates privacy, transparency, and undermines the legal system. And if the judge in this case, Judge Lyman, agrees, she and her lawyers could face some serious consequences. Because also, remember, she could have obtained these text messages through ethical and proper ways. Like now, we're in the discovery and subpoena process. But no, she is not ethical, and neither are her lawyers. And I believe she's not credible either. Additionally, some other legal maneuverings that happened just yesterday. Third-party subpoenas, meaning people not directly involved in this lawsuit, have been served by her lawyers, and she and her team are asking the judge to compel these people to respond because they're overdue. Additionally, her high-priced attorneys are asking for evidence of Wayfarer's financial loss as a result of her alleged sexual harassment and all of the drama that happened. Meanwhile, in a separate letter also filed yesterday to Judge Lyman, Stephanie Jones, his former publicist, is fighting back against subpoenas about how she shared information with Team Delulu. So, his lawyers also once again brought up the whole Van Zandt sham lawsuit. Translation, they're coming at it from both fronts, meaning we will definitely be following up on this and addressing the Van Zandt sham of it all in this lawsuit. Because yes, Stephanie Jones and Wayfarer Baldoni are suing each other in a separate trial, but she is also subpoenaed in this one because of the relevant text messages of it all. I know it's a lot, and I love it. Additionally, also yesterday, Stephanie Jones filed a letter with Judge Lyman asking for a special protective order. She wants to keep some things secret. Wonder why? Shady Steffi. Trial doesn't start officially until March of next year, and there won't be cameras in the courtroom, but we don't even need the courtroom or cameras because I have got you covered. And we covered a lot of ground today. Thoughts on all of these developments? Oh my God. Let's discuss it all in the comments section.